Hi everyone, welcome to Royal Crescent in Buxton. It's a nice town, full of hydrotherapy, Victorian past. But Britain needs to regain its testicles. We can't just let our children, our distant cousins, the Americans, rule the world with an empire when we Brits had the biggest and best empire known to man. The sun never set on the British Empire because a quarter of the planet, every single bit of the planet, was British. A quarter of it, anyway. The government has just released its latest budget, its latest financing, if you like, and it's not looking good. They've done the maths. People much smarter than I. I have a moderate mathematical ability, but people with a very strong mathematical economic ability have done the maths, and it no longer pays to have a moderate or a low-paid job in Britain. You may as well sit on your fat, muffin-topped, tramp-stamped arse and just take government welfare. You may as well move to Benefit Street and get yourself filled up with hard-working taxpayer free money. This is a very dangerous time for Britain as we approach Christmas. There's some people doing some nice Christmassy things there. But it's going to be a bah humbug. It's going to be a Grinch Christmas. It's going to be a resentment Christmas. It's going to be a Soviet Christmas because we've all imbibed the lie. We've all opened up our throats and taken the big, massive phallus of unfairness down our gullets, and we're choking on it. At a time where AI is going to remove a lot of digital, office-based muck jobs, slop jobs, office slop jobs. AI is going to do it a lot more efficiently. It can do it 24/7. It doesn't want workers' rights. It doesn't want minimum wage. At a time where the government is, because Christianity, like many other ideologies, can be hacked, a glitch and a hack, a backdoor, use that guilt, use that traumatized maternal instinct of a bunch of women who have the vote, who have not had children because it's bad for the environment. And so we've allowed in literally millions of angry young migrant men illegally into Great Britain. Look at the dogs had a piss. There's a puddle there. The dogs had enough. It's boiling the dog's piss. So it's not looking good. The diagnosis, the prognosis is looking pretty bad for Great Britain. And I don't know what all the answers are to a growing, burgeoning population of people who are literally slug people who just take. They just consume. There's no brain, no ability, no motivation, no ambition. They just want to sit on the sofa, get fat, watch daytime television, and make the taxpayers get squeezed even more. For the people who still believe that working for your money is an important thing. But one thing I do know is that we need to, once again, take a deep breath and realize that maybe the British way, the classical Victorian British way, is what a lot of the world needs. A lot of the world which is third world, savage, backward, and for some reason they're not able to have functioning societies, and their women folk are pumping out children like thunk, thunk. The way McDonald's will pump out cheeseburgers, women in the third world are pumping out babies. And where do they end up? They end up on benefits, on government welfare, in capitals and other minor cities across Western Europe. Now, America has just about managed to stem the tide and cut off the tap of aggressive people. We've just had a nasty shooting in America where an Afghan national, instead of being grateful that the Americans took him away from the Taliban, I don't know his backstory. I think he was some sort of Afghan soldier, and he's repaid Uncle Sam by shooting two National Guard soldiers, just yards from the White House. Now that's just one example amongst many. We don't need to talk about the daily, hourly examples of illegal savage men attacking young girls, raping, murdering their way through the streets. We don't have to talk about young people from crazy places, for example Rwanda, or other tin pot dictatorship backward shitholes who have a mental health crisis, end up stabbing a bunch of preschool girls, 6-year-old girls, or just go crazy. They're on a train somewhere near Cambridge and just stab 10 people randomly with a large kitchen knife, giving them life-changing injuries. Now, these things used to be almost unheard of. These things used to be once in a generation, at least once every 10 years in Britain. They would have their own Wikipedia articles. Now, the editors at Wikipedia, they can't keep updating it hourly. There's a new atrocity every hour, every single day. And it doesn't have to be like this. We need to grow a set of testicles again as a society, not individually. Some of us have too much testosterone, but as a society, we are feminized, we are transgenderized, we are tenderized to the point where we are weak, Christian guilt, pathetic little suckers of the satanic phallus, and we feel guilty because we won, because the British won, we feel guilty. The Americans, still quite a young country. A young country, 1776 until now. That's not even 300 years. That's a young country. So they still believe in themselves, still believe in the American Eagle, the Project, Uncle Sam, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, which I'll say it again. The American Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are two of the most beautifully written libertarian documents ever made by men. Very proud of you, Americans, very proud. And I hope you forgive us for burning down your White House in 1812, you know, when we and the Canadians had a bit of a skirmish with you. But again, it's brother on brother, father on son violence, which doesn't help anyone. I know colonialism is a bad word, but we've had 100 years of American international colonialism. It's time for the British to get a bit involved in that colonialism. And I don't think it was all a bad project. A lot of the world benefited a lot from British morality, British values, British education. It can't just be that places only kept cricket. They've got to keep more. I don't know, guys. A nice English gentleman just stopped. He was listening in. I was worried he was a lefty, a wokey. But I stopped filming and he was like, "Oh, hi. I just wanted to say that everything you've said that I've heard, you're right." I was like, "Thank you very much." But perhaps I am a bit of a Darwinist. Perhaps I am a bit of a fractal, four-dimensional survival of the fittest. And I know we need to have a kind of Rawlsian, John Rawls' theory of justice. I studied it in philosophy at Edinburgh University. Ooh, look at you, bragging. No, I'm just telling you. The theory of justice says that we need to make society as equal as possible so that no matter where you start, you have the ability to better yourself and get to the top. Now, I believe capitalism, pure unadulterated capitalism, not corporatism, not government crony capitalism, not corruption, but pure capitalism is that Darwinian fairness that we want, you know, meritocracy. If you work hard, if you have talent, you can make your way up. And I believe, like as Billy Moore says often, it's not about where you've been. It's not about your past. It's about where you're going. And we can all go somewhere great. And as I see America with its space programs, with its ICE programs, clearing out violent, thuggish parasites. Sorry, I mean economic parasites. I don't want to, you know, be misquoted here. But it's, what is a parasite? It's something that sucks out energy from the host and gives nothing back except disease. And what is crime? What is rape and murder except a disease, a lack of ease, a lack of civility? So we used to be a great country. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the Victorian era. Look at that. Look at that. Britain needs to stop having two-tier justice where some people are a protected species. If you're a recent arrival, if you're a minority, you're treated like a king, like a god, like a demigod. But if you're native, or even if you're just like me, you know, I've got a paternal Scottish lineage, a Brazilian maternal lineage by way of Portugal, oldest ally of the English. Portuguese and the English together. But even I get treated like scum by the judiciary, by the legal system, by the police, because it's safe. We can truncheon him, we can arrest him, we can monitor his speech, because if he says something a little bit unwelcoming, throw him in jail. But coming back to Darwinism and capitalism, we all need to sing from the same hymn sheet. We all need to have the same challenges and the same opportunities. I think in the future, when we're exploring space and colonizing other planets and having multi-generational starships to go and spread the human seed throughout the galaxy and beyond, we'll look back at the 18th, 19th and 20th and 21st century and the leftism, the communism, the wokeism as a mental illness, as a total cope, a strategy to use our hatred of ourselves and of society to try and just parasite off hard-working people. Leftism needs to get treated as a psychological illness. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help society. It always, every single time, leads to death camps, starvation, and secret police arresting you. And Britain, because it's getting a bit socialist now, we're starting to see the police throwing people in jail for their opinions. Britain needs to regrow its bollocks, and we need to not be scared to export the British Empire once again to countries who are bleeding out their angry young men into our countries because they cannot run functioning societies. I'm sure many of them, many of the thinking ones, would love for the British to come and be in charge. We're at a crossroads now. We've run out of money, we've run out of space, young people are more and more unemployed. The unemployment rate for the young in this country is double, triple the national average. People don't believe in work, they don't believe in saving for the future, they don't even believe in the future. They're not having babies. Many that do are killing their own babies in the womb. So I want us all to survive, and I think one way to survive is to start being honest and to not be scared to speak. This is Charlie Veitch from the Royal Crescent in Buxton. Thank you very much for watching.